4, 3, 2, 1.
Broadcasting live from the Newsmax studio in New York City. A fusion of politics, commentary, entertainment, and sports. Steve and his team bring you the latest news and opinion now. Here is Steve Malzberg.
All right, folks, I welcome back, and the panel's back, Rick Ungar and Adam Thompson, and I kid you not, as we speak to you, the president is speaking and congratulating our soccer team for advancing. I know that's the most important thing on his mind, and well, it should be, because there's nothing else of importance going on in the world that the president should concern himself with. And he's such a sports fan, as you well know. All right, I don't want to digress into that, because I could very easily. Let's rejoin the panel, and let me ask Adam Thompson. Adam, legally speaking, what chance does John Boehner and the Congress have in suing the president? As Tom DeLay pointed out, first of all, the president will be gone probably by the time any of this gets anywhere. And what about standing? Hasn't standing traditionally been a problem with Congress going to court?
Yeah, this is much to do about nothing, Steve. It's one of these things just to gain political airtime and just make up an issue and hopefully use it in the next election. Listen, did the president overstep his boundaries? Sure. I don't think anybody's going to say that he didn't, and the Supreme Court made that clear in their decision. But really, people are so tired of the squabbling and the fighting and nonsense. Lawsuits over suing the president because he went a little too far with this. Listen, we got bigger fish to fry and bigger issues to tackle than worrying about this. He's going to be gone. He's going to be out of office. Just move on, let it go. It's just pointless to me.
Rick?
I agree with what Adam was saying. I will answer your question about standing. In a more perfect situation, standing would be less of an issue if they got somebody who claimed that they had actually been hurt by one of Obama's executive orders. That would be somebody who would have an easier time with standing. Boehner has a decent chance of passing that preliminary test. It is a potential issue, and we'll have to wait and see. Given that the courts are really not very happy about taking on these kinds of cases, it's actually possible that they could use standing to knock out the case so they don't have to address the substantive issues.
And one more, guys, real quick, 30 seconds each here. I hear the presidential spokesman saying, hey, we're not going to wait for Congress. There are reports that Obama's in talks with HHS. They're going to mold an executive order on immigration. So here we go again, a president who proudly proclaims, I have no problem going around Congress. Rick?
Yeah, like every other president we've ever had who proudly proclaims I have no problem going around Congress. My favorite quote being that of Ronald Reagan. So maybe he is, maybe he isn't. We'll have to wait and see what they propose. But far more important than that, since we're out of time, I'm with the president. Go USA. They were fantastic.
They lost. Oh, Adam, go ahead.
They got through to the next round.
But they lost.
Listen,
You don't understand how soccer works, Steve, like so many other things.
Go ahead, Adam,
this is going to be more food for fodder, Steve. Listen, if he circumvents again, the president's going to come under huge fire from everyone on the right. The Republicans will go crazy because they say, look what the Supreme Court just ruled against you for overstepping boundaries, and now you're going to do another executive order that could possibly do it again. That might rub a lot of people the wrong way and get some legs behind it.
In other words, another day in Washington, D.C.
All right, Rick Ungar, Adam Thompson, it was fun.
You got to get past that.
Yes. And I'm glad that Rick's earpiece was working this go-around. Thank you, guys. All right, folks, we're coming back. But before we do, today's America Moment details the presidency, or the rise to the presidency, of Gerald Ford.
I shall resign the presidency effective at noon tomorrow.
It was a stirring moment. Never before had a president resigned and another man risen to the nation's highest office. On August 9th, 1974, Gerald R. Ford was sworn in as the country's 38th president. It was a time in the nation rocked by scandal. The same day, August 9th, 1974, the House Judiciary Committee passed articles of impeachment against then-President Richard M. Nixon. That same day, Richard Nixon resigned, and Vice President Ford was hastily sworn in as Commander-in-Chief by Chief Justice Warren Burger. Soon after taking office, Gerald Ford ended the Watergate prosecution by granting Richard Nixon a full and unconditional pardon to the fallen president with this decree.
My fellow Americans,
Our long national nightmare is over.
On October 17, 1974, President Ford agreed to appear before Congress to defend his historic decision.
I was absolutely convinced then, as I am now, that if we had had this series, an indictment, a trial, a conviction, and anything else that transpired after that, that the attention of the President, the Congress, and the American people would have been diverted from the problems that we have to solve.
Historians have lauded President Ford's political courage in granting the pardon, but the move was widely believed to have cost him the presidency in 1976, when he was defeated by former Georgia Governor Jimmy Carter. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis, and this is an American Moment.